In the glow of a phone screen, millions watch her guide massive machinery across endless golden fields. They see the sunrises, the dust clouds, the satisfying rhythm of harvest. They witness a young woman who makes farming look effortless, even beautiful. But what the camera doesn't show, what no short video could ever fully capture, are the tears she's blinked away in the tractor cab, the weight of generations pressing on her shoulders, or the profound losses that arrived during the season when she needed strength most. She never imagined her life would unfold in front of millions. She was simply a young woman from the heartland, sharing glimpses of tractors, golden fields, and the honest rhythm of growing food. But beneath those sunlit videos lived a deeper story, one woven with grief, pressure, and the quiet strength that comes from honoring those who came before. Her path reveals that even in wide open spaces, loss can strike suddenly and reshape everything. This is a story about how heartbreak doesn't have to mean the end. Sometimes it's where real strength begins. When grief arrived during the busiest season, harvest time follows its own relentless clock. Sleep becomes scarce, meals happen standing up, and every hour of daylight feels precious. Fields turn amber, engines roar to life, and tension builds with each weather report. For this young farming couple, one particular harvest would be marked not just by grain, but by profound loss. Her grandfather had been more than family. He was the person who first showed her what it meant to care for the land. As a small child, she watched him walk the rows with practiced ease, measuring time not in minutes, but in seasons. He knew soil by touch and weather by instinct. To her, he was a library of wisdom, stories of difficult years, good harvests, and knowledge earned through decades of experience. He taught her the fundamentals, how to handle grain without waste, how to secure a gate properly, how to sit quietly and observe. Because patience often matters more than speed. He showed her the rhythm of farm work and the weight of responsibility. Most importantly, he taught her that farming wasn't merely a profession. It was a promise passed between generations. When news of his passing arrived, it came during harvest, the busiest, most demanding stretch of the year. The timing felt impossibly cruel. Fields still needed attention. Weather wouldn't pause. Equipment wouldn't wait. Crops didn't acknowledge that the man who once walked those same acres was suddenly gone. She pushed forward because that's what farmers do. But grief colored every moment. She felt it climbing into the tractor, remembering when he lifted her into that impossibly high seat. She felt it passing the barn where he once worked. She felt it most at dusk, when silence settled over the land the same way it did during childhood rides beside him. If that had been the only loss, it would have been devastating enough. But heartbreak rarely arrives alone. Her husband was facing his own grief. His grandfather had also passed around the same time. Two young people, newly married and building their future, suddenly found themselves mourning side by side, each carrying private pain while trying to keep the farm running. Her husband's grandfather had been his foundation too, the steady presence who taught him that land represents responsibility to those who came before. Losing him meant losing a mentor and guide. Yet farming doesn't pause for sorrow. Crops don't delay. Machinery doesn't sympathize. Bills don't wait. Harvest arrives on its own schedule, demanding attention regardless of what's happening in a farmer's heart. Behind the steady hum of equipment and the rush of long days, they were both grieving deeply. Nights brought memories flooding back. Mornings required putting on boots with tired eyes, reminding themselves the work still needed them. Quiet moments in the fields felt overwhelming, but they stayed strong because that's what their grandfathers had taught them. To outside observers, nothing seemed wrong. Videos still appeared online. Smiles remained. Equipment explanations continued. Harvest progress was documented. But cameras never captured the heaviness between recordings, the long silences when exhaustion left them wordless, or the empty chairs where grandfathers' voices once filled the room. What made the heartbreak so piercing was that harvest itself celebrates legacy. It's when farmers feel their ancestors most, the people who planted before them, who taught them, who shared the same dreams. Harvest used to represent shared victory with their grandfathers. Now it became a reminder of absence. Yet something powerful remained. They supported each other, even in silence. They honored their grandfathers the only way they knew how, by working hard, caring for the land, and continuing the legacy entrusted to them. Every completed field felt like tribute. Every sunrise they worked through felt like a promise kept. By season's end, they had changed, not because grief disappeared, but because they learned to carry it. They discovered that heartbreak can exist alongside purpose, that love can fuel difficult days, and that loss, though painful, can deepen connection to land their grandparents once touched. Their grandfathers didn't see every moment of their growing operation, but their teachings lived on, in her patience, in his focus, in how they worked together like branches from the same strong tree. The weight behind the smile. Heartbreak doesn't always arrive suddenly. Sometimes it builds slowly, quiet, invisible, yet crushing. For this young farmer, emotional weight didn't begin with online attention. It had been growing since childhood. Since understanding, she belonged to a line of farmers who had protected this land for generations. Being a fifth-generation farmer carries invisible pressure. It means knowing your family's decades of work rest partially on your shoulders. It means understanding that one bad season could erase years of planning. It means fearing that failure doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone who came before. That pressure started early. The farm was living history. Every fence, every structure, every field connected to someone she loved. Walking the land with her grandfather, she learned not just techniques, but reasons, why they rotated crops, why rain timing mattered, why land needed care like family does. Those lessons rooted themselves deep inside her. They shaped the farmer she became, but they also created weight she rarely discussed publicly. She needed to prove herself in a field dominated by men and older generations who sometimes viewed youth as inexperience. When her videos went viral, thousands watched her every move. Visibility brought opinions, many supportive, many painfully harsh. Strangers who'd never farmed criticized her methods. Some questioned her skills. Others reduced years of work to dismissive comments about appearance. Growing up proving herself to family was one thing. Proving herself to millions of strangers was something else entirely. Rising through the weight. What makes someone remarkable isn't avoiding heartbreak. It's how they rise after it. The losses, the pressure, the expectations could have broken her. Instead, they shaped her, the way fire strengthens steel. That strength came slowly, through small daily choices. At first, she just kept moving. The land didn't judge. It didn't demand explanations. It only asked for honest effort. With her husband, healing came through shared understanding. They didn't always discuss feelings. Sometimes presence mattered more than words. Their grandfathers had shaped their childhoods and identities. Losing them simultaneously created wounds they both understood deeply, and that understanding became a new bond. The fields became her teacher. Grief didn't disappear, but she learned to carry it more gently. Climbing back into the tractor became a choice. To keep going, to honor her grandfather's memory by working the same ground he once walked. Her online community also became unexpected support. Though she didn't share every detail, her honesty didn't make her weak. It made her human. Followers shared their own lost stories, reminding her she wasn't alone. Her skills sharpened. Confidence grew. Every season and mistake taught her something new. She was building something entirely her own, a farm shaped by both history and innovation, tradition and courage to evolve. She learned to give herself grace. There were days of doubt and days of thriving, but each time uncertainty crept in, she remembered her grandfather's words. You don't have to know everything. You just have to keep learning. Resilience wasn't something achieved. It was something practiced daily. And she practiced it through every sunrise, every conversation, every decision to keep showing up.